Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Sleep Mechanics and Strategy Talk series. In this episode, I'm just going to go over a pretty quick little simple thing that I was asked in the Discord by Juan. Just asking of a comparison of pot expanders to berry specialists. Which is better? What is the actual evaluation between them and comparison between them? And I think I've got a very easy answer to the question because when it comes to things like this, you can kind of just take the absurd, kind of like what I did with the Dream Shard farming by selling ingredients thing. The comparison really isn't even there, and I can show just by taking it to the absurd level um, to explain the concept. Now, for this, I generated a Magnezone and a Typhlosion. Magnezone is got the most jacked skill specialist stats you'll ever see, and Typhlosion over here has got the most jacked berry specialist stats you'll ever see. And Typhlosion notably also does have berry or favorite berry. I gave it that because I wanted to give it at least a decent chance. But the Magnezone I'm giving just about every single possible benefit of the doubt. Now, this guy procs roughly 9 times a day. I don't think anybody has this Magnezone. If you do, you're really lucky. That thing is insane. And 9 times a day at 31 ingredients per proc, with 342 base value ingredients. If we use the best possible ingredient in the game, the Slowpoke Tails, you multiply all those together, 9 times 31 times 342. Even if you add in the base modifier for crit chance, you can see that the value of it estimated out is about 111,000, just under, or just over 111,000. The reason why that's significant is if I go back to here, Typhlosion produces about 111,000. Now, granted, these might be equal rarity. I'm not so sure. This might be easier to catch. This might be more difficult to catch. But either way, the Typhlosion doesn't need you to be producing 9 times... well, let's see. 9 times 31. The Magnezone, in order to keep up with using its procs, you'd be needing to produce 279 tails a day. Nobody's account has that. And even if you use the next ingredient step down, leeks are about 45% weaker than tails. So, or like 45, 46% roughly weaker than tails are. So that's taking the Magnezone down by about 46% just by using the second strongest ingredient instead of the strongest. And then, depending on each ingredient past that point, it gets weaker and weaker and weaker. All the way down to if you're using apples as your filler, then there really is no comparison here. Now, theoretically, you could make this upper bound even more insane that I had of the 9 times the 31 times the 342 times the 1.1714, because that assumes base crit chance. If you're running Dedenne, then theoretically these pot increasers do better. But, like I said, the estimate that I put forth was an unrealistically high expectation, unrealistically high estimate for what the Magnezone could produce and how that could compare to Typhlosion. And something notable, berry finders will curve with level. If this goes up to level 75, it gets significantly better. If it goes up all the way to level 100, significantly better. This is like the most amount of skill procs per day you're going to get off of this Magnezone. You can get a little bit more by getting Help Speed S and Helping Bonus, which can get you up to like 10 procs a day. Like, that's a little bit better, but it's not amazing. And not a ton better. It's not like almost tripling its production. And as far as we know, the skill is only going to go up to level 7. It might go beyond this. If it goes beyond this, then there's a little bit more case for more strength from it. And as far as we know, there's never going to be a tail or an ingredient stronger than tails. And if there are, then it's going to be incredibly gimmicky, and you're never going to be able to produce enough to fill the pot that this Magnezone is the pot space that this Magnezone is providing you with. And you're definitely not at all at once having a Dedenne constantly getting its crit chance up. If you want to do the math, it comes out to roughly 1.88 times modifier instead of 1.1714, which is what it is when you have base crit chance. But still, this is just... If you're running a Magnezone, these pot size increase Pokemon, they really have 2 good uses. The first... Or I guess 3 good uses. Or no, 2 really. The first is that when you are using it in off weeks, to level a meal, or if you're free to play and want to make the higher tier meals consistently, a pot size increaser to increase the pot to make those new meals bigger meals is a lot of value, because you're reaching a stronger meal that you wouldn't otherwise get. If that's outside of a good camp ticket week, for those of you that have limited good camp tickets, then that gives you the opportunity to level those meals outside of those event weeks that you're using your good camp tickets on. And the other usage for them is for stockpiling a ton of them, so you can get a strong proc or a strong meal right away Monday morning, to have you set for the rest of the week, basically, because strength over the whole week is stronger than strength that comes in right at the end, because Monday morning it applies to all 7 sleep sessions instead of just 1, like Sunday procs are. So there are still uses for pot size increasers, but this is not it. Don't be using it in place of your berry specialists, because it costs more ingredients, and it ends up being weaker, and there's less longevity to it as well, because these guys will keep scaling, these guys will not. So yeah, if you have enjoyed the video, the little math there behind it, then be sure to leave a like and subscribe. I try to cover concepts like this all the time. I love going into the math behind this game and thinking through strategies that would otherwise just seem bad. I will consider almost everything in this game and consider the impact of almost anything to figure out what really is the best for you guys. So yeah, join the Discord. It's down in the description. Link is. We'd love to have you in there and be talking about things like this the entire time. So yeah, as always, I thank you guys for watching and hope that you all have a wonderful day. Bye-bye now.